Dating after divorce. 8 signs he's not ready to date again. Here are some signs that a man who has been split is not ready to date, let alone start a relationship. When women heard that Jason Momoa and Tom Brady were getting a divorce, they started to get ready, but not so fast, ladies. Jason and Tom are legally free to date again, but they might not be ready. Check if you're doing any of these 8 things if you're a divorced man, about to get divorced, Jason or Tom. If you are, you might not be ready to date. And if you don't pay attention to these 8 signs, you might hurt women when you're in a hurry to start dating again. 1. You and your ex are arguing about money. After a split, it takes time to figure out how to handle money. Men who just got divorced might even find it hard to pay for dates while their money is in change. Still, it's not about the money. It has to do with your stress. Your worry about money and whether or not things are fair is a big turnoff when you're dating. Maybe you don't talk about it on your first few dates. But you live and breathe it every day, so it comes up in talk with a woman you're seeing more and more. You start giving a detailed account of what your ex said and did in the most recent fight over money. You might say something like, "Women only care about one thing, money," without realizing that the person you're on a date with is a woman. You weren't serious. You just feel upset. But it means you need to take care of your job before you date. 2. Don't let the woman you're dating get hurt in your battle with your ex. You don't have any close friends. I've heard men who got divorced say that they lost friends because of it. Most of the time, the wives were the ones who made the family friends become friends. When a man with no friends starts going out with a woman, he starts hanging out with her friends. In his weak emotional state, he likes and respects the social life she gives him. That is his social life, his network, and his way of expressing himself. He is using her as a support system. We didn't make our support system so that you could use it to get through hard times. Get yourself one. It seems like I don't want to share my support system, but the problem is that if you start to wonder if the woman you're dating is the right person for you, you might stay with her because you don't want to lose her social support. She's a tool for you. That's not cool, man. Spend time building your support system after your breakup before you start dating again. 3. Now that you're split, you have a long list of things you can't wait to do. You couldn't do everything you wanted to do when you were married. You couldn't buy dirt bikes and go on trips on the weekends to ride them. At this point, you want to make up for lost time and do all the things you had to stop doing when you were married. If doing those things is the most important thing to you right now, you may be more interested in having fun than in relationships. Maybe now your goal in dating is to find a woman who wants to do the same things on your list. Having a few things in common is a good thing. It's not a good idea to stop dating women who don't want to do all or even most of the things on your list. You have too high of hopes for yourself. You might find a woman who will ride ATVs with you sometimes, but she might not want to go to every heavy metal show with you, just like your ex didn't. Also, you might be so focused on doing what's on your list that you're less ready to do what your new woman wants to do. After all, you went to those stupid plays with your wife because she liked them. You did your time being a good sport, and now it's time to move on. I'm just saying, have some fun before you start dating again. When you want to meet a cool woman more than you want to go fishing, or whatever else is on your list, you're ready. Also, instead of expecting the women you meet to be your playmates, at least in this context, make friends who will do many of the things on your list with you. 4. You don't know who will take care of your kids. Suppose your ex finds out that you're seeing someone else. She might use this against you to get her way in your fights over childcare. I see this a lot when a man who just got divorced wants to move in with the new woman he's seeing. Perhaps he's pushing because living together will help fill his empty pockets after his split. The ex-wife then says, "My kids would be living in a house with that woman," and she goes to court, saying that the new woman would be bad for the kids. Have you ever noticed that charges can be made in court without any proof that they are true? Your ex doesn't even have to say what bad qualities the woman you're dating has outright, she can just suggest it. After a few court dates, your ex's claims will be thrown out because they are not true. Your right to raise your child hasn't changed, but the woman you dated is. Her good name was dragged through the mud in court because you didn't wait to date until you figured out who would care for your kids. You talk badly about your ex. It's normal to talk badly about your ex. Plus, it's nice to let off steam and exchange notes every so often. But there's a thin line between what's normal and what means you're not ready to date. I'm more worried about how often you talk badly about your ex in your head. If most of what you think about every day is how bad your ex was and how she hurt you, that means she still takes up a lot of space in your mind. You know how you have to get rid of some things in your room so your new sweetheart can keep some of her clothes at your place when she stays the night. You'll have to get some of that stuff from your ex out of your head to make room for the new woman. 6. You don't want to talk about your old partner. I just told you that you shouldn't always talk about what your ex did wrong and the money problems you're having. Here's the difference: if you don't want to talk about your ex, you're probably not ready to start dating again. You could say that you're a private person or that you're trying to respect the privacy of your ex. Good try. It's normal and healthy to tell the person you're meeting and building a connection with a little bit about your past relationships. Stop dating if talking about your ex is so painful that you can't even talk about it, or if avoiding talking about your ex is how you deal with everything. Spend some time thinking about what happened until you feel ready to talk about your ex with someone new. 7. You listen to sad music. My friend's wife left him about 4 years ago, so he is now divorced. I knew something was wrong when he showed me his favorite music. All of the songs on his list were about someone leaving someone else. Even though it was country music, country artists did sing about other things. Look, it's normal that you will get sad sometimes when you think about your ex. It could be old memories. It could be sadness. It could be sadness that you failed at something so important. Even though I've been divorced for over 10 years, I still get emotional when I hear a few songs that were important to me during my marriage. You know what I do, right? I don't include those songs on my playlist. I don't give myself time to be sad. It's fine to be sad for a little while. But if you're sad a lot, you shouldn't be on dating apps. 8. You try to find someone completely different from your ex. If you hate your ex, find someone who is nothing like her. That makes sense, right? It means you're thinking in an extreme way. You still think that your wife, the way she was, and who she was caused your marriage to fail. That means that you didn't do anything wrong. If you don't take responsibility for your part in the failed marriage, I'm afraid you'll take that moral attitude into dating. You didn't learn what you needed to know so that your next relationship will be better. Also, it shows that you haven't thought about what traits you want in a partner. If your answer to "what are you looking for in a woman?" is "not my ex," you should take some time to change that answer before you start dating. You might end up with a woman who is the opposite of your ex but is also wrong for you in a whole new way. In conclusion, you have a lot to figure out now that you're single again. It's reasonable, and many of us women are willing to go out with you even though we know that healing takes time. I'm just saying that you check to see if you're doing any of these things. If so, stop dating until you figure out some of these things. Think of it this way: when you call people to your house for the first time, you clean up before they get there. If your life is a mess, don't bring a new woman into it. First, clean up your life a little bit. Unless you're Tom Brady or Jason Momoa. Before I come over, you can just ask your maids to clean up a bit.